Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock. Let's talk about what is happening to the stock, what we can expect moving forward as we move into a very spicy day tomorrow and potentially the rest of the week. And I'll give you my thoughts moving forward and what I think can and what I think will, of course, happen moving forward. So as per usual, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. It does help a lot. This would be much appreciated. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. That link is down below. For just $2.99 a month, you get access to all my intraday thoughts, post updates on Tesla, and just the broader market as a whole. Today, for instance, I posted Google updates, which was fun. But yeah, if you're interested, the link is down below for that. Or for $5 a month, you can upgrade to the tier where you get access to, of course, all that I just mentioned, plus NVIDIA daily updates as well. Literally just $4.99 a month. So yeah, jumping into it though, NVIDIA closing the day, unfortunately, down a percentile, closing at $115.59 per share, which is a very interesting close. And the reason I say it's a very interesting close is because it closed 3 cents under the 21 EMA, which to me is irrelevant, right? What the 3 cents is irrelevant, right? It pretty much closed at the 21 EMA. But this is where it gets very spicy. And I hate to say this, but it can go either way. It can go up or down. I know that's the meme, but I'll give you my personal projection. We'll try to dissect this a little bit further to figure out like what the hell can actually happen here, because it closed like literally 3 cents below the 21 EMA, which is pretty much directly on it. So first, I want to make something clear. I said this in my Tesla video. I'll mention it here again in case you haven't seen it or you don't watch the Tesla, you only care about NVIDIA. Obviously, we have FOMC tomorrow, right? 25 basis or points or 50 basis points cut. Who knows which one we're getting, right? That's kind of the question mark right now. I think market's expecting 50, but it's like not much higher of a chance that they're expecting 50 as opposed to 25. The reason I bring this up is because more often than not, what I've personally have experienced and seen with FOMC, I've seen quite a few of them now, is the fact that the real move tends to usually happen the day after, like Thursday, for instance, maybe sometimes even as late as Friday, but usually Thursday. So just keep that in mind. So sometimes, the move that you see tomorrow at post FOMC, like literally posted like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., whatever, not always the correct one or the right one or the real move. Just keep that in mind. Sometimes, like I've seen, for instance, FOMC happens is 3 o'clock or whatever, market's pumping. And then Thursday absolutely dumps and absolutely tanks. Just keep that in mind, or vice versa. Just keep that in mind. I've seen that happen often. So pretty often, not every time, but more often than, you would think. But jumping straight into NVIDIA. So like I said, it closed pretty much at the 21 EMA. Now, obviously things are not looking too bad still, right? And on the daily chart, MACD still flip bullish, still, barely, but still making a higher high. So that's, not bad to see. RSI still above the median, right? It's cooling off a little bit, so it's not overbought, but it's cooling off, so it's looking all right. It's still above 50, above the median line over here, the yellow line. Honestly, it's not looking too bad still, right? Potentially even arguably more room for downside, which I'll actually explain why I said that very soon. Stochastic on the daily still pointing up, actually still surprisingly looking, not too bad. It's definitely curling a little bit, right? It's softening up a tad, but not too much, right? Not too much. Still looking actually pretty decent. BX trender, on the other hand, made a fresh lower high, so which is telling me that the bullish momentum is slowing down a little bit, but not a crazy amount, right? Not a crazy amount. So things are sort of offsetting each other, and NVIDIA is in a bit of a kind of like a limbo land here, in my opinion. It's like, well, where does it go next? Like, does it go down to 110 or does it go to 123 next? It's kind of like right in the middle, it feels like, right? I'll give you my thoughts. This is what I think, right? 4-hour chart is where I kind of have a better idea, right? 4-hour chart, you can see things are looking a little bit more interesting in a more bearish sense even, right? So the 4 hours actually holding the 21 EMA as well. It actually held it pretty well. But if we lose this 21 EMA essentially below 115, let's say tomorrow, what I personally believe will happen on NVIDIA, also because don't forget, RSI is looking definitely more bearish on the 4-hour. Stochastic, you can see it has a bearish crossover on the 4-hour in overbought territories. That's usually a bit of a red flag for me. Again, I put a lot of weight into this indicator. It's been working pretty well for me. BX trender, constant lower highs, like pretty damn obvious ones as well with a red band for me. So the 4 hours looking, even though it's not that much shorter of a time frame compared to the daily, right? It's looking pretty different. Like the picture is quite different here, right? So that tells me that the short-term momentum, it's definitely slowing down. So if I had to take a guess, right? If I had to just bring out a crystal ball and I had to take a guess what I personally think NVIDIA will do, tomorrow or Thursday or whatever, but ultimately the general move is going to be this. So let's take the Fibonacci. Let's go from the swing low to the recent swing high, right? The swing low was right here at $101 per share. And the recent swing high we had was pretty much right around here at almost 121, right? So this is where we would take a look at it. Now, if this was indeed the recent swing low, which obviously was, but assuming this was the recent swing high, which I believe it is, You measure the Fibonacci, and we haven't even come down to the first Fibonacci retracement, which is that 382 level. This is the same thing I was talking about back when SPY was retracing. Remember how it stopped only here? And I was talking about how, I mean, it has to, there's no way it doesn't go lower. Like, it has to go lower, right? I remember I was talking about it right here, and I'm like, the 382 level is all the way down here at 462. And this was back when we were still trading up here around 473 roughly, right? I'm like, at the very least, I think it'll come down to the 382, because like, I'll be pretty surprised if it doesn't. Like, that's like the first level to retest on, you know, these kind of cool offs after a large move, which is exactly what NVIDIA just had, right? So going back to NVIDIA, same idea. We just had a large move off, you know, this massive rally from $100 to 120. It's a pretty impressive rally, pretty quickly too, right? So, you know, it's perfectly normal to cool off here, maybe, you know, sideways correction, downwards correction, bull flag, whatever. But the point I'm trying to make here is, it's pretty rare we don't come down to at least that 382 Fibonacci level, right? And that's, again, sitting at pretty much $113 per share. So as of right now, I personally would expect NVIDIA to make its way a little bit lower to about 113. Ultimately, probably find a bounce. It would be essentially within this bullish flag, right? This downward channel. And then ultimately, I would expect a rally from there, and for us to, you know, break out of this bull flag and move higher. That's my current beige projection. Now, again, whether or not my bull flag is drawn correctly in terms of the channels, you know, tops and bottoms, the bottom one I'm unsure about. Top one is I'm pretty sure about. The bottom one, I'm not sure if I have it drawn correctly. It could be steeper. I'm not sure. But assuming this is roughly what it looks like, I'd expect a move down to honestly about 113.5, and then bounce from there pretty aggressively, ideally intraday. And I'll explain soon why. If we don't stop there, about 110 to 111 is the next level at about 0.5 Fibonacci retracement, followed by moving right into this massive demand zone again, which will be the 618 Fibonacci retracement level as well, sitting at about $108.5 per share. Those are the three main levels to the downside I personally expect NVIDIA to come down to. At least in my opinion, I'd be surprised if it doesn't come down to 113. But again, potentially as bad as, you know, 108.5, we'll say. So watch for those levels, in my opinion, moving into the rest of the week. I think those will be really, really crucial. Now, I mentioned how, you know, intraday, right? Why did I say intraday? Well, because to me, the best case scenario for the bulls will be if we do make our way down below. But the issue is if we make down, you know, to those levels, 113, 110, 108, what does that mean? That means that the daily candle is now well below the 21 EMA. And what did I usually say? Below the 21 EMA equals bearish. So the ideal scenario for the bulls, if they really want NVIDIA to come up to 123, 126, is make its way down to one of those levels intraday, but still close back above the 21 EMA. So it'd be a pretty quick snapshot move to the downside, like let's say 113 as an example, and then it rallies up from there, maybe post FOMC or whatever, and it still closes above the 21 EMA. That to me would be pretty bullish. I think that would be a pretty bullish. That to me would signal that it's a massive bear trap, almost like a slingshot. And usually what happens when you get slingshots like that, where it's, you know, had like a pretty massive false breakdown or breakout, is it tends to go in the opposite direction pretty aggressively. And that's what I would expect for NVIDIA to do if that kind of rough scenario plays out. So yeah, that's my base projection personally moving forward on NVIDIA. Excuse me. And that's kind of what I think will happen personally, right? Let's go to the 1 hour chart really quickly. You can kind of see the same rough idea on the 1 hour chart that I did. Excuse me. I just ate a massive orange. I'm like, you know, burping a little bit. Anyway, 1 hour chart, same idea, right? You know, we have that bull flag forming, right? Again, we have a massive imbalance over here. Usually these imbalances get filled. So I wouldn't be too surprised. Like, let me show you. Wouldn't be too surprised if we do make our way to 110. So if I go over here and I go to NVIDIA, I go to the daily chart, not the daily, I think it's 4 hour. Yeah, the 4 hour chart. We have a massive imbalance here. Usually when you get these kind of imbalances, it's pretty common for them to act as a magnet and for the stock to kind of come down somewhere within this, usually about the halfway point, which will be pretty much that 0.5 Fibonacci retracement around 110. And that's where it would most likely get a bounce from. So, you know, one of those levels is what I would expect as early as tomorrow, honestly. I don't know when. Tomorrow, Thursday, maybe Friday. I don't know. Probably tomorrow or Thursday. But I'd expect most likely a pretty damn powerful bounce from there and for us to move higher pretty quickly. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you right now, right? In terms of indicators on the 1 hour chart, you know, we still have bearish on the MACD, RSI's actually in oversold territory ever so slightly, but, you know, it's not really showing too many signs just yet. Stochastic is still bearish, and of course the BX trend is still bearish. So again, same with Tesla, same with like AMD even. AMD, same idea, right? Has a potential bearish engulfing candle, close lower than yesterday's hot close. Same kind of concept where, you know, the market feels like it wants to flush a little bit more. Like it really just, like for me, AMD, if it gets anywhere to around mid to low 140s, man, I'd be very interested, right? Same with NVIDIA, right? If it gets to 113 or 110, I'm very interested once again. But I don't know. That's just the way I look at it. And ideally, we close back above the 10-1 EMA by the day's end as well. So that's just kind of what I'm seeing. It's a pretty big day tomorrow. I mean, this is going to be a massive, massive day. This is really difficult to predict, of course, or to try and figure out what exactly is going on. But you have the levels to work with, right? You have those levels to work with. And of course, the upside targets and resistance points remain 120, 123, 126, $3 each, really, increments. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Let me know what you think down below. And as usual, I'll see you for what could be a spicy one tomorrow. Peace.